Hi, and welcome to the LesParis.com podcast. I'm Les. This podcast is a short daily monologue that you can listen to. Use it to practice listening to English. Use it to stimulate ideas. Use it for BGM.
Hi there. Thanks for joining me on the Les Paris podcast. Today you're listening to episode 179. Yesterday on episode 178, we talked about Bitcoin. And today, in episode 179, let's talk about barking dogs. Barking dogs. Do you have a problem with barking dogs in your life? I'll bet many of you will say, no, I don't. But there's probably a few that will say, yes, I do. If you're one of the yes people, I'll bet this barking dog is a small dog. Have you noticed how small dogs like to bark a lot? And big dogs don't like to bark very much. In fact, I use big dogs as a role model for some of my younger students. I like to say, the big dog is quiet. And then I want the students to notice big dogs are quiet, and they might feel, I want to be like a big dog. Nobody wants to be like a small dog. And even though you're barking a lot, you don't notice that you're barking. When you get outside of yourself, then you can see, oh, that's noisy. And it's behavior like a small dog. Big dogs look strong and tough, and most people want to be like that. Now, what can you do if you have a barking dog? Well, that's one thing that's really the topic of another podcast, but that comes down to dog training. Frankly, I believe dog training starts with yourself. If you can't control yourself, you can't control your dog. And the more control you have over yourself, the more control your dog will show. And then your dog won't bark as much. What do you do if it's not your dog, somebody else's dog? Well, there's not much you can do. I suppose you could complain. But frankly, I think complaining about barking dogs is like blowing in the wind. If you have a dog in your neighborhood that's barking too much and you complain, well, the owner of the dog hasn't done anything, and the reason they haven't done anything is probably because they can't. So, complaining about barking dogs is a waste of time. You'll just have to grin and bear it. Now we've come to the end of another episode of the Les Paris podcast. Today, we talked about barking dogs in episode 179. That would be great if you could join me again tomorrow in episode 180 when I talk about pets.